We are spoiled NLL fans. We had another one of those weekends where the scores do not tell the full story. Because if you just look at it quick, Halifax holds Philly to 6. Georgia walks into Ottawa and just controls the game. Rochester drops 18. Vegas wins in overtime. Buffalo sneaks one out by a goal. But when you actually sit down and watch it, that's not what the weekend was. The weekend was missed opportunities, momentum swings that lasted 5 minutes and disappeared, power plays that decided games, and power plays that completely killed teams. Philadelphia scored 6, then turns around and puts up 12 on Toronto 2 days later. Calgary takes over late and still loses in overtime. Saskatchewan wins faceoffs and loses the game. Ottawa wins the dot and still gets handled. Nothing about week 18 felt stable, and that's the problem. Or depending on how you look at it, that's what makes this so dangerous heading into playoffs. Because right now, I don't think anyone actually knows who's in control. And while all of that's happening, now you've got Philadelphia back in the spotlight, not because of what they did on the floor though, but because of what might be happening off of it. Relocation talks are heating up again, and then there's a North Umberlin situation and what is happening there. So today, we're not just breaking down scores, we're breaking down what actually happened this weekend and what it means and why week 18 might have told us less than we think. Let's get right into it. Welcome back. My name is Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Across, and this is a game that never sits still. As always, leave me a comment and tell me what you guys want to see on here. And go follow the socials. All the links, all this stuff's going to be up on the screen right here for you guys to check out. Join the Discord as well. Great community in there. Around 100 people. You always get good conversations there. I pull a lot of ideas out of there, and I kind of try to drop stuff in there before I bring it up anywhere else. So if you want to be up to date, get in there and follow the social. Now, with that being said, we have, as always, a jam-packed episode. Now, first off, I changed my intro. I thought it was time, and my wife, shout out to my wife, man, because she does a lot of this, the final editing. I go through it, I listen to it, and I do all the editing, but she does my final editing. She adds all the stuff on the screen. She's really good at that stuff, really good at social media. And she also does a lot of my videos that she, when you see my hype videos for the weekends and stuff like that, that's all her. She does that stuff. So even though she's not really into the lacrosse, she's definitely exposed to it quite a bit. So, and I could not do the amount of content or the level of content that I do without her. So I want to give her a shout out because she's my rock and she does everything like that stuff for me. And she's always there. She always makes sure my stuff's done and helps me out. So I really appreciate her. So I wanted to give her a shout out because I've never really talked about that before. And I think this is my talent. I sit down in front of a camera and I can talk about lacrosse all day, or any sport really, but especially about lacrosse. Lacrosse is my favorite game, specifically box now. It's even over hockey, which is crazy. I never thought I would say that. I still got hockey jerseys all over my wall. I've got a lacrosse, I've got a bar, a Toronto Maple Leaf bar. I've got a tattoo, and I've fallen in love with this sport more. So with all that being said, I just want to give a shout out to her for always helping me out, and also just tell you guys that I'm in love with this sport as well, right? So we have a big episode, like I kind of mentioned. As always, if you're new here, thanks for joining. If you're a reoccurring watcher, I love you even more. And or listener, however you get this podcast, I notice it's weird. Sometimes I find my YouTube numbers are better. Sometimes I find my Spotify numbers are better. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, we have a lot to get through. Now, I was going to do a deep dive originally into the Minnesota franchise and why it fell out. So that will be coming. So leave me a comment if you actually want to see that, because I do want to do a deep dive into that. But because of all the news that has dropped, I don't have time to do that. So, we always cover 2 topics and then we get into the week. Sometimes we'll have an interview. Most times we have an interview. This week, I just didn't have time. So we're not doing a guest this week. We'll have a guest on next week and get back to it. But for now, you're just going to deal with me. So two topics, which are going to be the North Umberlin situation that's going on. I know I've got a lot of comments on that I did a video on that, and it's a divided topic. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you both sides, and then I'm going to give you my opinion at the end of it. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia situation and the relocation. Now, Philadelphia brought a statement yesterday, or the league did. The league brought out a statement about Philadelphia yesterday, I think it was, or the day before maybe. And so we're gonna go into and talk about that and the relocation and where they possibly are going to relocate. There's a lot of rumors flying around. I'm going to go into everyone that I've heard and some more concrete stuff. Shout out Loose Mesh. They're my boys. They always put out the news kind of first. Loose Mesh has become the source people go to for the news first. They drop everything. Frick is relentless. Okay, Frick will get information off you. He will bug the shit out of you until he gets it. He's funny. I love Frick. I'm not chirping him. I love him, and it shows the passion that he has. he gets a lot of good information. Dawson gets a lot of good information. And this is the thing. Those guys have grown up with connections and they've played and they've grown up with these guys. So they have a lot of connections. So with that being said, they get a lot of firsthand information. This sport is small and there's no secret in this. Everyone's going to know where Philadelphia is relocating before it's announced. It's just the way it is. And the league has to get behind this because this is what builds hype. It happens in every other sport. You get the initial, all the insiders start talking about it. All dummies like me start talking about it. You get the fire going. And then by the time they announce it, it's just like you threw gas on the fire instead of trying to start it from yourself. So the league needs to get behind this because, and they are starting to, I think, but I don't know if they like when certain things come out. I think this Philadelphia situation is going to be somewhat like it. And I know Brett Fruit, I know he doesn't blame us, the creators or the media guys. He blames the people that are talking. But at the end of the day, when you tell your brother and your brother goes and tells his friend, and it's like, that's sometimes what happens in this sport, and it just goes like wildfire. And that's why you get these crazy ass rumors. And, you know, sometimes even with stuff I say goes crazy and I didn't mean it to. Like, I'll be like, wow, all of a sudden I'm hearing this rumor that I started that's out there now. And it's wild, man. It's wild. And I'm just talking shit a lot of the times. But I do try to disclose that. But the problem is people only listen clips, or they'll pull something that they heard on my podcast. Maybe they weren't paying attention when I said it was a disclaimer, but I've heard stuff that I've said. I had somebody reach out to me that was like respected in the community, and they messaged me on X. And on X, your messages, for some reason, I don't always see my messages. Like, it doesn't show me in a notification that I have a message. I'll go into my messages sometimes and I'll see if I have anything, and it'll be there or it won't be there. And so anyway, I go in there and I see this guy message me and I'm like, oh, and so he's like, where did you hear that? And this was already, and I had said something. And then I think I heard it online, or I don't even remember where I really heard it, to be honest with you. I was just spewing shit, right? Like, I was just like, I heard it and then I said it because it made sense maybe. I can't remember the exact situation. I'm pretty sure I heard it like throughout, like somewhere, because I have so many different things I'm following. So I'll hear something in the comments, and I'll kind of go digging and see if there's any truth to it. And then I'll say it, right? I don't just say everything I see. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, he messages me. I don't see it till 2 days later. And then what happened because I think Halifax, I think Halifax is going to be sellers at the deadline. And I can't remember where I said, I think I might have heard it off something, but anyway, either way. And then he ends up messaging me, where are you hearing that? And then I seen it like the day after it already happened. I said, I guess it doesn't matter because it came true. And then we just started going into it about how, because I'm a big Halifax should be rebuilding person, especially after the Tyson Bell fiasco. And I'm calling the fiascos, the Tyson Bell fiasco. It's hard to call it that quite yet, because what we're going to see, but that feed trade made no sense on either side. And I will stand by that. I don't get that trade from either point of perspective there. That one drives me nuts. That one drives me crazy. But anyway, I digress on that one. We're going to give up on that one. We got to let that one go. I can't let it go though. The feed trade, as much as the Tyson Bell trade doesn't make as much sense to me, the feed trade really doesn't make sense to me. Tyson Bell is a fantastic defender. They got a defender back for him. They didn't get anything for feed. And they're going to be like, it just does. Anyway, I don't even want to get into that. Go over every game in the weekend. I'll give you the recap of each game. We'll talk about my player awards. We'll go over the standings, the stats, all that stuff. Everything we normally do, guys, as always. And then we will also go into next week's games. And I did pretty good in who you got this week. Shout out Lacrosse Classified there. Still a little shout out here since I'm going on a rant anyway. So I'm going to give you guys some podcasts that I watch, because I heard Dawson and Frick do this at the end of the Loose Mesh podcast, and they were chirping me. Frick, I'm a real podcast. This is a real podcast. I think so anyway. But no, I love it because it's funny. Because anyway, you got to go listen to the end of it. But Frick goes in to on their last podcast, they went into about how they were showing a podcast, and like even the fact that I'm on the radar is funny. All right, I love those guys though. But it's so anyway. So Frick starts shouting out some podcasts, and then Dawson goes, "Aren't you forgetting about your East Coast buddy there?" And Frick goes, "Who?" And then Dawson goes, "Jacob." And Frick goes, "Well, he's not a podcast. He's just like he's kind of meant like, oh, I'm just like a social media guy." And that's what I always say too. I'm just some dummy online that's a social media guy, right? And Dawson goes, "Bud, you're a reoccurring guest. He's been on my podcast twice." And then Frick just chuckled, right? I don't take offense to it. Don't get me wrong. I don't take offense to that at all. But it's funny. And I don't consider myself in the clique until I'm in a group chat. So I'm not in a group chat yet. Everyone talks about these group chats. I think I'm the only one left out. That's okay though. It's just funny, but because I don't really take myself super seriously either yet. And I'm trying to, I think what Frick meant by that, and like, I don't think he meant it in like a demeaning way or anything, but what I kind of took from that is that, I'm kind of looking at this, like, I'm just on here talking about my perspective from a fan, right? I don't have any connections. There's no real credibility. Like, I don't want to say that I don't have any credibility, because I mean, I think if you study the game, you have to have some sort of credibility. But so I think I'm building credibility, I would have to say, especially when we go over my record at the end of the year, and it's better than most of these analysts that I've been following. Not trying to shout it, go at anybody, but I'm sorry, but if I as a newbie fan can have a better record than you, that might not be the best look for you, brother. But no, I'm just kidding. But no, but I think Frick kind of did make a lot of sense, right? I'm not considered a mainstream podcast. I think it's what he kind of he meant to say. Like, I'm not like an OTCB. I'm not a loose mesh. I'm not a daily dive. Like, I don't think I'm on their level yet. And I think that's why it's kind of nice though. That's why I float under a lot of this drama that goes on between some of these guys, because I'm not ever going to be the guy that, well, that's not true. I shouldn't say that, but I'm not trying to be the guy that gets you the news first. I'm trying to be my own personality, I'm trying to be somebody to help grow the game of lacrosse, because I think it's amazing. I think it's the best game out there. And I think that I'm trying to be a personality for it and just give you my perspective. And that's, to me, is enough. I think that's going to be enough for me to move my way up the ladder a little bit. And I do hope eventually to get into some kind of media deal, whether that be with the NLL, NLL Plus, or whether that be with a sports network or something, and just be able to talk about this when it gets to that point. Because I'm kind of I'm trying to kick this off early, and I'm just trying to be consistent, right? So with that being said, there you go. So I don't take it offense. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to think I'm offended by that. I'm not. I love Frick. He's a great guy. Dawson's a great guy. The fact that, like I said, the fact that I'm even on their radar and they even talk about me on their podcast is tremendous compliment, I guess. And I never, to be honest with you, I'm in a tangent here, but I'm just going to go off. Who knows? I might cut this later. But I said back in August, okay? Now I started doing, we're going to get into the episode here in a minute, guys, but we're on episode 42 now, I think. I had started this. I did not become a fan of lacrosse until Four Nations. So that was last year. So it's funny. A lot of people were hopping on hockey then. I hopped on lacrosse, right? And so I watched more Leafs still last year, and then I was watching lacrosse as well, right? But I would always have, I have 3 TVs in my garage, so I would always have something on, but my main TV would be my Leafs. Now it's the opposite. Now it's like I got the Leafs on the smaller TV and lacrosse on the big TV. But I will say, right now the Leafs are doing really bad. I still love the Leafs, but you get fatigued as a fan. That's why I'm scared to take a team in lacrosse a little bit. And it's one of the reasons why I'm, maybe just staying a free agent. But anyway, we do have that going on though. I'm going to be picking my NLL team right now, or not right now, but this next couple weeks, I'll be picking my NLL team. With that being all said, so anyway, I started then. So then I started doing content sporadically from, I'm going to say like that February all the way to August. I was doing sporadic content. I started to kick it up a little bit more consistently, but I would post for 4 or 5 days in a row and then just stop, right? I would just like not post for a week. And then I would post something and like all that stuff. Now what I said in August, I can't remember the exact date. I'm gonna have to go back and look, and I'm hoping it comes off on my thing when the day it happens. But I made a video on it too. I said, I'm gonna start posting consistently 2 to 3 times a day on TikTok every day for a year and see what happens. Because I've seen this girl say, if you post on social media every day for a year, you'll never have to work again, but your life will be changed essentially, right? Because I know it's at a year point, I'm probably not gonna not ever have to work again. Okay. But I'm in a niche thing. Now since August, middle to end of August, I've been posting consistently on TikTok 2 to 3 times a day, right? There might have been 1 or 2 days near the start that I got really sick and I couldn't post, but basically every day since then I've been posting, right? So we're into April right now. It's April 1st when I'm recording this, right? I'm a little late to recording this week, but April 1st, I'm recording this, and my life has changed huge. Like I've got over 5,000 on TikTok. I've got a couple hundred on Instagram. I had 0 on Instagram, basically. I have a couple hundred on X, almost nothing on X as well. And this is the thing. And like I've got Facebook, I'm starting to grow. I only have 22 on Facebook or something right now, but that will grow. I hit Facebook last. So now I'm just on all these social media platforms, and I've really gotten myself out there. And to be honest, when I first started, I also was like a little bit like still embarrassed, right? Like I'm still like, and I watch my content even from like last year or whatever, or 2 years ago or 4 years ago when I was doing content sporadically. And I've gotten so much better at it now, speaking in front of camera, fluently speaking, not saying, not pausing, all this different stuff that I was doing. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. So now I've already come this far. So all these skills are they're transferable to my regular life too, with talking to people, talking to customers, all that stuff, right? I'm in the middle of starting a property maintenance business. Like it all goes hand in hand, all the social media stuff I've learned. So nothing's a waste. But anyway, I'm going to come up to a year, and I said this, and I'm going to do a whole thing when I get to the year. But look at this. I had no Discord, before August, I had no Discord, barely an Instagram, barely an X. I had a TikTok. I did have TikTok because I was doing TikTok for a little while. And then Facebook, I had nothing. So I've started everything from scratch from August, and I'm already at this point. I have 80 subscribers on YouTube, I think it is. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. 80 people choose to fucking watch me. And, maybe they don't watch every time, but they're still subscribed to me. And I really appreciate that. I also appreciate, anybody who's listening still. So anyway, we're going to get off. I'm way rambling at this point. So we're going to get off. We're going to actually get into the episode now. Okay. So let's start with okay, let's start with the Philadelphia situation. The whole reason I came in here was to talk about the Philadelphia situation, right? So Philadelphia, a lot of stuff's floating around here. Here's what Philadelphia shared. Following the 2025-2026 season, we have made the decision to close operations of the Philadelphia Wings franchise under the Comcast Spectator portfolio. This was not an easy conclusion to reach, and this is one considered with great care. Since the Wings reestablishment in 2017 and return to the turf in 2018, the team has proudly carried on Philadelphia's rich lacrosse tradition at the highest level. We hope you will join us on continuing to root for our players in their pursuit as they pursue new opportunities throughout the league. On behalf of our leadership team, players, and the countless others who have been impacted by the Wings franchise over the years, thank you. We truly could not have built this community without you. We recognize that this is news to may come as a disappointment, and we want to express how grateful we are for the steadfast dedication to the team. Your support has been central to the identity of the Wings, and it has meant more than we can express. Thank you sincerely for your passion, your commitment, and your community you have helped build around the Wings around Wings lacrosse. So pretty classy, honestly, if I do say so myself, on the Wings organization. At the end of the day, boys, if you don't have people in the building, you're not going to have a team. And the Wings, go look at their numbers, and if you want, we can pull them up. And it's from the National Lacrosse League, okay? So National Lacrosse League begins strategic transition to position Wings franchise for long-term growth. The National Lacrosse League today announced that Comcast Spectator will transition out of ownership of the Philadelphia Wings franchise following the 2025-2026 season. The league has already initiated a comprehensive process to identify the next ownership group and evaluate the strongest long-term market opportunity for the franchise. The transition represents a strategic step in aligning the club with an ownership group and operating environment positioned to maximize its future potential. As part of the league is prioritizing markets and venues that offer enhanced flexibility, fans engagement, and opportunities and long-term growth alignment with the NLL's broader business trajectory. And then Brett Frood said, this is quote unquote from Brett Frood, priority is to position its franchises for sustained success and long-term value creation. We are actively engaging prospective ownership groups who share our vision for growth, community impact, and competitive excellence. The league's momentum continues to build, and we are confident this transition will lead to exciting new chapter for the franchise and its players. So there you have it, guys. There's Brett Frood's kind of statement on the whole situation, okay? Now, does this mean that the franchise is folding? Absolutely not. You're not, from everything I'm hearing, this franchise is not folding. Now, does that mean they're staying in Philly? That also does not mean they're staying in Philly. I've had people being like, they're not folding, they're staying in Philly. They're not staying in Philly. There is no ownership group that is going to come in and take a team that could put 4,000 fans in the building. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. Where are they going to play? All that kind of stuff. They need to get out of Philly. Unfortunately, I have been pioneering them to stay in Philly this whole year. Fortunately, the Philly fans do not feel the same way because they don't show up to games. If you wanted to show a team and an owner why you should be there, you should have been showing up to games. 10,000, whatever, fill that fucking building. So a little bit of the Philadelphia fans' fault a little bit. Now, obviously, it is what it is, right? They just need a bigger market. Now, where the heck are they going to go? That's the biggest question right now, right? So let's pretend now maybe they will stay in Philly. I don't know. I'm just some guy on the internet that's spewing, okay? So don't come at me too hard here. But let's talk about some relocation opportunities. Now, everyone right away, Edmonton. Everyone says Edmonton, right? Could they go there? I don't know. Maybe. Should they get a team? Yes, they should get a team. They should get a team back. They put 7,000 in the building. They can put probably 9,000 in there. I don't see that being an issue once they sell the culture there and it's back in the building. So they got a nice new arena there. Edmonton has to be part of that, like the Edmonton Sports Group or whatever it is, has to be part of buying that the team and being a part of it. So that's the I can't remember what it is, but that has to be, they have to be on board in order for a team to go to Edmonton. Apparently they want it there. We'll see what happens. Could it end up there? Absolutely. Montreal is obviously another option. I don't know if they're leaving Montreal open in case they need to move Ottawa though. And that's just my own thought process. Never heard anything about that. I just think that it's an easy transition to go to Ottawa to Montreal if Ottawa cannot figure out their fan issue as well, because they're in the same issue. We need to be putting 7,000 fans in the building. That's what Brett Frood said. Okay. This is coming out of his mouth that I listened to on a podcast. If you're not putting 7,000 fans in, you should be worried. On average, right? So if you're not doing that, you need to figure out how to get to do that, or there's going to be a chance that they look at moving you. It's just, it's the reality of business. That's just what it is. They're going to move you to a market that they know they can put it in. I still think Minnesota, right? Minnesota still has, if you go look at the numbers historically, they average 9th a game. Oh, there's an arena issue from what I've heard. There's all this. I'm going to go to a deep dive if you guys want it. We talked about that early on. We'll go into that if you guys want it. But Minnesota would make the most sense. There's tons of arenas there. Maybe you can get the Wild to help get in there, and that's the thing. I think that they should be trying to get partner with NHL teams. But at the end of the day, if you can't, and you can find an arena that holds 10,000 fans, I think that's fine, right? But you want to try to get up to that 10,000 fans, because at the end of the day, you have to get there. That's where we need to be at. That's where I think we need to be at, is 10,000 fans game to really be looked at like a serious sport, right? That's what I kind of look at. And even then, we're still a little bit away, but we need to start moving towards that, right? So with that being said, and then you have teams like, look at Halifax, a mid-market team that fills their building every night almost. And yes, they've been competitive. So we'll see what happens if they do go on like a little bit of a slide, or they don't have a great season. But I can tell you, from knowing how sports fans are down here, by living down here, they'll show up. I see it in junior hockey. They show up. In Halifax especially, they show up for games. So I think the same thing is for the Thunderbirds. And I think we need to find more kind of diamonds in the rough like Halifax, that is craving a professional hockey team, or craving a professional sports team that doesn't have it, right? So get in those markets, right? What are they? I don't know. There's smarter people out there than me. But another team that I would like to see is Florida. Florida's another team that I think would flow around, right? Here is what Loose Mess is saying, okay? So they've heard rumors. The following cities have been rumored around: Edmonton, Alberta, Trenton, New Jersey, and Laval, Quebec. So I could honestly see a team in Laval, no problem. That's an option. I think Quebec City, they're not touching either, which is kind of a crazy thing because they love their sports there. I don't know how they feel about lacrosse, but I do know that when it comes to hockey, they'll go out, they'll show up. So you got to get that, kind of build that love in there as well. For that, Montreal, to me, like Laval, makes a lot of sense. Who else we got here? So those are the teams that Loose Mess is shutting out. And then New Jersey, I've heard New Jersey. I have heard it. Now another one was Charlotte. Charlotte's another one that I've heard rumblings about before, and then that's kind of got shut down. So I don't know what's going on there. Then I've also thought always a team in Florida would always be super interesting, because there's such big hockey fans down there. It kind of just makes sense. There's a lot of Canadians normally that are down in Florida. That obviously, box cross is more of a Canadian sport. I find it is a harder as you get more south for box cross for whatever reason. I would like to see this team in Boston, but this is where I kind of wanted to go into the thing, because I'm pretty sure they've had a couple teams in Boston. Yeah, so they had Boston. Boston ran for 3 seasons, 2009 to 2011. They made the playoffs every single time they were there. They had good records too. Well, 10-6, and then 8-8. Go through all these teams quick. I just want to go through. So the average attendance was 4,700 in Anaheim. Arizona, their average attendance was about 6,000 to 7,000. Arguably could go back there. Baltimore was 6,000, so not good enough, I don't think. Okay, Boston. Yeah, Boston's average. So Boston Blazers played. Who played? 2009, 2010, 2011. Like I said, they were averaging 7,800 fans. So, okay, Boston Blazers again. Oh, okay. This is weird. The Boston Blazers, and it puts out 1, so this must have been. This is 95 and stuff. So it's a bit old to be going off those numbers, but again, 7,000. Buffalo Bandits, obviously, like Buffalo Bandits. Charlotte Cobras only averaged 2,700 fans. That was in 1996, though. What else we got? Chicago. Okay, so Chicago, only 6,000 fans. They only had 1 season there, though, or 16 home games. When did they play? 2007. Okay. Columbus. What was Columbus? 46. So Columbus didn't work. Detroit. Why don't we put the team back in Detroit? Why are we not talking about that? 800, 8,500 was their thing. I don't understand why their playoffs are average is lower. It's 6,200, but I noticed that with Boston too. Edmonton was averaging 8,000, and then they 9,500 in the playoffs. So Edmonton does make probably the most sense. Minnesota, 9,500, 9,300 was their average attendance in Minnesota, and like it's crazy. Why are we not going back there? Montreal Express. Montreal played in 2002. They only had 8 games, and they put almost 8,000 fans in there. That's again pretty freaking good, guys. New England. Here's New England the Black Wolves. I don't really know. I'm going to have to do a deep dive into these teams, man. But 4,800 for them was their average. So not great. The New England Blazers was 7,800, 8,000. So that's, again, not bad. Their playoff were 11,479 was their average, or that was their 1 playoff game. So that shows that, like, New England loves teams that play or that win. New Jersey Saints were over 6,000. So, and they played 7 games. So they again, that was back in 87. So they probably, honestly, New Jersey is probably another great market to go into. Let's see, New Jersey Storm. You have, when did they play this? 2001, 2003. They played 16 games, and they had an average of 5,500. So not overly great there, but New York Riptide was only 4,500. Why? That's weird that New York doesn't, it won't go in New York either. Because the Saints were 7,300 average attendance. New York Titans, 6,000. So again, we don't really want to, I don't know if going back to New York, they have the Ontario Raiders at 4,800. I'm just going through all the teams here, guys. I want to see if there's actually somebody. Washington had 4 cracks at it. San Jose Stealth, not great numbers. Portland's okay, 7,700. Pittsburgh Crossfires, low. Pittsburgh Bills, 8,200. Pittsburgh Bills, Pittsburgh Bulls, 8,200 average attendance. Panther City was a fucking burn. Why did Syracuse not work either? That doesn't make any sense to me. Was it New England? Yeah, New England Blazers. I'm going to do a deeper dive into this, but New England Blazers, they had a 7,800, they had 13 regular season games. They had 100 fans on average. And they, in their one playoff game, they had 1,000 fans in the building, over 11,000 fans. What is this? What is the sauce in this? Because there's something. But I think after doing a quick rundown of that, I think what makes the most sense is them going into a new market in the States because they want to try to build a game down there. So you do that, or you either go to Edmonton, you go to Laval, or you go to, because that just makes sense to put a team in Laval. And that's kind of the short run. They're on the short list, obviously. And that to me, that is almost like, why does Montreal not have a team? And this coming from a Toronto guy. So we definitely need, I think we need a team in Laval. And I think probably, to be honest with you, if I had to guess, and I said this actually last year, I said, I think Philly's going to end up in Montreal. And here we go, right? So it kind of does make sense. It makes sense when you try to stand back. New Jersey also makes sense to me. I'm going to get every team. I'm going to do a big deep dive into this, I think. I'm going to put it on my list right now, okay? We're going to do it. We're going to do a big deep dive into every fucking market. All right, so there you have it there. So if I had to guess, guys, to be honest with you, it's Edmonton, everyone's crying for. I don't think that's it. It's too obvious. Makes too much sense. I think they will get a team, but I think they're going to get a different team. I don't think it's going to be that. They're either going to I think they're going to get an expansion team. I think that's what's going to happen with them. I think once we see all these markets stabilize, we're going to see expansion, and we're going to see probably 4 teams, I would say. That's just my own guess. I am bullshitting here when I say that, okay? That's just me off the top of my dome. I don't know anything. No one's told me about that stuff. That's just me thinking, like, I think we're going to get about 4 teams in the next expansion. And when people are like, oh, that's going to water down the league, I disagree with you. I think there's a lot of talent that doesn't get utilized. Shout out Christian Watts. It doesn't get utilized. It sits on the bench, and there's more and more players coming up, and this is how you grow the game. Okay. Now there's a fine line because you don't want to go too fast, too far, but you also don't want to stagnate this game. And right now, if you look at these teams, even if you had 1 star per team, okay, instead of having 3, have 1 star per team, 2 stars per team, and then separate everybody else. And then you don't think that's going to be good lacrosse? Like, yes, it is. It is going to be good lacrosse. With that being said, we just need to find a good ownership group for this team, get this one stabled. Georgia's its own special box with them. They don't care if they lose money completely. That you're not going to see that. I don't think you see that move until he passes. And then at that point, you'll see a decision being made whenever that baby 20 years from now, who knows, right? The owner there. And other than that, I mean, you have every other market seems pretty stable. Vegas, like I said, I think the markets that aren't stable, they need to get into downtown. If they can't get into downtown, they need to provide transportation from downtown to the games and then back to downtown. That way that people are more willing to go, and in partnership with a bar that people can go for after drinks, a watch party, all that stuff, right? And then that'd be cool if to have a bar have a watch party, and then the people with tickets leave, the other people stay there at watch party, and then the people come back from the game and come together and party hard. Like, I think that would be really cool to see in the league. So anyway, I digress there, guys. So there you have it. I think if I had to pick a team right now, that I think I'd have to say Laval. I think Laval probably is my front runner to get Philly. If I had to guess, if I had to put my money somewhere, it's Laval or Montreal, whatever, in that area. But topic 2 is the North Umberlin situation. Now, what the heck is going on here? Okay, so now this is a situation. Now I'm going to tell you both sides of the story because I've talked to multiple people about this and I've heard multiple perspectives on this. I'm going to give you my perspective at the end. But here's my thing. So Northumberland is essentially doesn't have enough kids to produce a team. So they're waiting for the junior A kids or the junior kids to get cut from those teams, and then they'll be able to put a team together with those kids, is kind of how I'm piecing it together. Please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's kind of what I've pieced together. The issue kind of here is the OLA minor lacrosse players are territorially bound to clubs and zones, okay? If a player wants to leave, like example, go from Peterborough to Whitby or wherever, they need a formal release. That process is strict. Club hearing required, appeals process, and then fees involved. Northumberland is a smaller center, so they're a Zone 6 area, and they compete against bigger programs, Peterborough, Whitby, all this stuff. and it's exposing itself to be like it's why would you want to play for a smaller team if you can go play for a major team, right? So players are trying to leave and they're not getting the chance to. They're being denied. The releases are being denied, right? So the main issue is like so basically, these players essentially want to go and play for one of these bigger markets because maybe that could be for coaching, maybe that could be for a better chance at exposure, maybe that could be a better chance at a mental, right? And the OLA is essentially saying, no, 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 we don't want super teams. We want teams. We want everybody to play where they're grown up and give everyone a fair chance. And too bad. And the problem is, the problem is when you have a smaller group of people, you're going to have different markets dominate. It's just the kind of the way it is. So here's the teams in Zone 6, just to kind of give you an idea. Okay. So in Zone 6, you have the Clarington Gales, which is Bowmanville, Kawartha Lakes Fury, with his Kawartha Lakes. You have North Umberlin, which is Coburg, Oshawa Blue Knights, which is Oshawa, obviously, Peterborough Lakers, which is Peterborough, Quint Bay, Bayhawks, Belleville, Stouffville Thunder with his Stouffville, Toronto Beaches, which is Toronto, Toronto Stars, which is Scarborough, Oxford, which I don't know why don't you name your kid's fucking team Scarborough, bro, boys? Like, I hate, oh God, this is kind of like a little nitpicky, but I hate when people say they're from Toronto when they're not from Toronto because, like, I guess this is a Hamilton thing, growing up in Hamilton. It's like we didn't want to be part of Toronto, but all these other areas around Toronto want to be Toronto. Anyway, I digress. You got the Uxbridge Enforcers, which is Uxbridge, West Durham, Rockman, Pickering, and Whippy Warriors, which is Whippy. So this is the issue that I think was running into. You have teams, you have players that want to play for certain teams, whether their family played there or whatever, and you have those players want to go play for that teams, but they don't live in that jurisdiction, right? Okay. Then you have on the other side of things, you have the OLI saying, well, you should be playing in your jurisdiction, right? Which I can kind of somewhat agree with, but at the same time, if it takes away from kids' opportunities, why would you not let it? Now, I think the issue is there's too many teams. There's obviously too many junior A teams. Why not merge some of these programs together if this is the issue? And this is what's happening. Northumberland can't support a team. That's what the issue is. They're going to dissolve. And so they're trying to pull these kids back in instead of going to let them play at the top level. And I think that's the problem with the junior lacrosse in general, honestly, right now, is that there's too many teams in that highest level, or there's teams that just stack their players, right? And then you get into trades and stuff as well. So that's what they're kind of waiting for. They're waiting for players to not make junior come back, fill their U17 spots with the top players. I'm on the fence about this one, to be honest with you, right? Because I do understand where the OLA is coming from in this sense. Yeah, I don't think I understood this situation perfectly at the start. This is my new fanness, right? So this is junior A's top level, obviously up to 21 or something, and juniors U17s under 17, obviously. But some of the U17 players are really good, so they go play junior. They go at least try out. So should we be like at a U17 level? Should we be letting these players go play? Now, my question is, if these players, are they allowed to play for other junior A teams or junior B teams, or are they stuck in those areas as well? Or is it just for minor? So like if these kids get, like, let's say they get cut, let's say a kid in Northumberland gets cut and he wants to go play for Whippy. He can't play for Whippy without a release letter. So okay. Okay. So anyway, so basically, it really comes down to, what you agree with. I think that if the problem is with if you have a couple kids that are really talented and they're playing on a lesser team, does that stunt their ability to develop? And, if they want to play for a certain level of coach, a certain coach, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, can you let them? Do you let them? Should it be the player's choice where they want to play? That's really what we have to do. I think it's hard. It's a very hard situation because I can see it. I do see this from both sides because the OLA is just trying to prevent super teams. And you're, as a parent, as an individual's parent, I can tell you right now that if I had a kid that was on any of these teams and they're saying you can't go play for, I don't know, fucking Peterborough. I want to go play for Peterborough or the Beaches. I want to go play for, I got an opportunity to go play for the Beaches. It's like, how do you turn that down? Like, those are franchises that have been around for a long time, and I understand like oh yeah, they're trying to build, but if a player really wants to go play for them, shouldn't that be their choice, right? And it happens in hockey too. This isn't just a lacrosse issue. And but I don't know. I could see the issue with it if they do just let that happen, because then you're gonna have only 2 or 3 competitive teams per thing, and then everyone else is gonna be, when they play those teams, they're gonna get mucked. And do you want to make a competitive league? But again, if it takes opportunity away from the player, especially when it comes down to coaches, a coach can really make or break a player, especially at a young age. They can really help mold a player. He's like the biggest fish on his team, and the opportunity just might not be there to be seen as much in a sense, because he won't be getting the opportunities because the caliber player that's beside him is nowhere near. Whereas if he went to play for a bigger market like Whitby, like Peterborough, he would have the opportunity to then play with these other top level players, right? Now, so it is minor. Like I said, I could see both sides of it, but I can tell you as a parent, if my kid, if they were telling me this and they were like, oh, you can't play here because you don't live here, I'd move. Like, that's just me. That's how stubborn I am. Or I'd go rent a place in that area and then here's your address, right? Or get a buddy's fucking place and get him to quote unquote live with my buddy in that area. And then just, there's his address, right? So I think there's ways to get around it either way, but I do understand it's a frustrating thing. I can see it from both sides. I probably tend to lean a little bit more to the OLA a little bit, just so it doesn't create super teams. But I feel like I'm also a little uneducated about this. My mind could be swayed. I probably lean towards that. But at the end of the day, I do know, on the other side of things, I do know if it was my kid, I would do everything I could to get it on a team that he wanted to play for and that he was eligible for and they wanted him on, right? Because that's the thing. You can want to be on whatever team you want, but that doesn't mean you would make the cut. But if you can make that team and they're the best team, like the Beaches or the Lakers or whatever, why wouldn't you want to try to, get on that team, right? So there's my take on it. Again, a bit of a messy situation here, I'm not gonna lie, and we'll see what all happens with it. So, with that being said, let's get right into the actual meat and potatoes of this episode, guys. So starting off strong, I'll just run through this quick scores with you for the week. So you had Halifax beating Philly 8-6, Las Vegas beating Calgary 10-9 in overtime, Buffalo beating Saskatchewan 8-7 by another 1-goal loss to Saskatchewan. That's rough. Then you got Rochester 18-11 for Rochester, kept the gas the whole game. Georgia beating Ottawa 12-7. I would like to see a little bit more fight out of Ottawa here. They're sliding here. And then you got Toronto and Philadelphia beating Toronto 12-9, which is huge. So let's start on the Friday night game with Halifax versus Philly. Philadelphia had 5,000 fans. Again, this is just not good enough. Definitely better than some of their attendance this year, but not good enough. And hopefully we get to see like the last couple games, fans start to really show up, right? So you had Halifax. Overall, this was honestly, I found it to be a little bit of a slower game. You had Halifax being pretty consistent overall, though. 2 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second, 1 goal in the third, and 3 goals in the fourth. And they were just trying to get the win. At the end of the day, they don't care. They're just trying to get the win. So they did it. And in Philly, they had 2 goals in the first, 3 goals in the second, 0 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. They shut Philly down in that second half, which is not an easy thing to do, to be honest with you. Philly's a better team, as we've seen them beat Toronto later on this weekend. They're a better team than people give credit for. Philadelphia, the longest drought was 24-55. Halifax was 15-41. So, it was the second half that killed Philly, obviously. But shout out to Halifax for shutting them down. Shout out Warren Hill. Like I said, the goaltending in this game was great on both sides. And shout out Levi Tui. He was on the podcast. He's he's actually the first official NLL player that has been on the podcast, because he is an NLL player now officially. And I think he's going to run out the season with them. He took a big penalty at the end of the game. He basically cross-checked someone in the neck. I mean, it's obviously a slip. I met Levi. He's not, like I said, I've talked to him. You can go back and watch the interview. He's not an asshole. He's not a mean guy. He's not out there trying to hurt people, because we talk about that in the interview, right? And he's not out there trying to do that. He's just a good guy. And he played very well. Halifax played great defensively, especially that second half, like I said, and really contained everything. So you've got, on Halifax side, you got Robinson getting 2 goals, 2 assists. 2 goals were big, 9 loose balls as well. You had Austin Blumberg getting 2 goals, 1 assist. Cody Jamieson getting 3 assists. Brendan Bomberry getting 2 goals. Clark Peterson getting a goal and assist. Stephen Cole getting 2 assists. Jason Knox getting a goal. Turfenko and Withers, Hosak all got an assist. Withers was 12 for 17 in the faceoff, so another massive 70% in the faceoffs, which is crazy. And then on the other side, you got Sam LeClaire getting 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Lucas Nielsen getting 2 goals, 1 assist, and his goals were they were electrifying. I think they were 2 opening ones, if I'm not mistaken. Dalton Young, another rookie, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. You have Sinfield, which is another rookie, a goal and an assist. Wagner with 2 assists. Brendan O'Neill with an assist, which is somewhat a rookie. I know he's a sophomore, but they shut him down really well, though. Fennell, another one that I really like, an assist. Evan Messenger with an assist as well. So huge. And you've got Warren Hill getting an 87.8 save percentage with 49 shots, 43 saves, 6 goals against, which is crazy. And then Deacon Knott, I think they're trying to figure out if he's going to be the guy that they run with and try to move Damoud for somebody else, or vice versa. But Deacon Knott, 49 shots, 41 saves with a 7 save percentage. And he's only 23 years old. So that's pretty massive. That's what I mean. The goaltending was really good in this game. And overall, like I said, a little bit of a slower game in my opinion. But overall, good on Halifax to get the win. They need it. They need to win their way out, but they're also watching the board to see what everyone else is doing as well, because they put themselves in not a fantastic position. I'll tell you that. Is there a chance Halifax makes the playoffs? I think I've seen the odds right now are at 18%. Can they do it? Absolutely. Are they going to? I don't know. They have a hard couple games, and we'll go into that in a minute when we get there. So next you had Calgary versus Las Vegas, 10-9 in overtime. In overtime, Calgary really came back here. 49-59 was the attendance. So again, we need that up. Like, you need to get that to the 6,000, max that building out. You had, Calgary only getting 2 goals in the first half, 1 goal in the third, and then 6 in the fourth. So again, just too little too late, not starting on time, all that kind of stuff. Young team mistakes, right? Then you got Vegas, 3 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second, 2 goals in the third, and 2 goals in the fourth. This is funny that Calgary did this to them, because this is what they usually do to other teams, is they go on this late run in the fourth and absolutely have massive fourth quarters. But they ended up getting it done, which is all that matters at the end of the day, right? Like everyone knows. Donville got the game winner, which is huge, but maybe a little complacent Vegas got, and then just kind of let them go. Sometimes it's all about runs. This game is about a game of runs, right? So you got Tyler Pace with a goal and 6 assists for 7 points. Cookie got 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. A Cookie monster. Braden Maya got 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. Hayden Dixon got 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Jacob Dunbar got a goal, and that's where the scoring, that everything else just fell off after that. Ignacio, though, another massive night in the dot with 21 for 23. That's huge. And then on the other side, you have Klutz getting 3 goals, 3 assists. Mitch Jones getting a goal and 4 assists. You had Donville getting 2 goals, 1 assist, and 7 loose balls. Poltres getting a goal and 2 assists, getting a goal and assist for 2 points and 6 loose balls. Kevin Crowley got a goal and assist. Jackson Webster got a goal and assist. Stokes got 2 assists, which is a rookie. Brendan Goodwin got a goal. Kyle Killen got an assist. Connor Kurse got an assist, as well as Tyson Bell and Landon Kells. Tyson Bell also got 12 loose balls. Massive reason they won this game. This is the thing, guys. Tyson Bell does not get enough credit. He's an unsung hero. I'm probably one of the only people that I hear talk about him a lot. And he's just an absolute animal. Nice guy. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's a nice guy. And he's a great defenseman. He's going to probably be a Hall of Famer. Like, let's be real. He's won at every level. He might end up going to win another couple championships, depending on how he is. He just signed an extension with Vegas this week, another 2-year deal. So he's signed through 2028. So he's going to be in Vegas for a while. Big drop ball. Definitely not the Toronto situation where Toronto traded away their guys and they came back. Kind of more a Mitch New situation, maybe a little bit. And, I can't blame him. I cannot blame him, right? I can't blame him for leaving. And I wish him all the best. He killed it. He deserves it. And Vegas is a dark horse to win the championship, in my opinion. As long as they get Trace Frazier. Like, this is the thing, guys. They don't have their fucking best player yet. They haven't had him all season, really. He got injured I think it was opening night during the warm-up. He got injured. And he's been back and then out and then back and then out. So we're going to see rest, right? But at some point, you got to see him come back, you would think. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Then you got Aiden Walsh getting 44 shots, 34 saves for 77.3 save percentage. Not great. Like, honestly, last year this would have been enough to win. This year it's just not. Then you had Landon Kells, 14 shots, 11 saves for 78.6. And then you have Bouquet getting 49 saves, 48 saves, 49 shots, 43 saves for an 87.8 save percentage. So Landon Kells was in for about 10 minutes there, but Bouquet really, really stole the show here. Good for him. Calgary, you got to give Calgary their young team, and they're impressive it's impressive that they were able to make such a comeback and make a game of it. But it's crazy that they got put themselves in that position, because if they could have played like that from the beginning, they would have positioned themselves way better. So anyway, now we're into Buffalo Bandits versus Saskatchewan Rush. Saskatchewan with 7,000 fans, not bad, but for a game like this, I would have I don't know what Saskatchewan holds. That might be maxed out, actually, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I don't think it is, but I'll have to go look into that. 7,000 fans, not bad, though. Definitely where we want to see them. That's where Brett Frew, like I say, he said that's where he wants to see the teams, is at 7,000. So, but I don't want to see Saskatchewan ever leave either. I love Saskatchewan. I think they need a professional sports team, and I just don't understand what the missing link there is, why they used to have so many fans and now they don't. Don't understand, but they got to get back to it. So, starting off strong, we had Buffalo getting 1 goal in the first, 2 goals in the second, 1 goal in the third, and then a 4-goal fourth quarter, which another comeback. Huge comeback win. Just amazing. And Matt Vince was lights out in this game. Saskatchewan, 2 goals, 3 assists, Saskatchewan, 2 goals in the first, 3 in the second, 0 in the third, 2 in the fourth. So slow down in the second half. You can't get 2 goals in a half and think you're going to win the game. It's just not going to happen. So they need more production. Longest drought was 21-21 for Saskatchewan. And they had the lead for 49 minutes. Buffalo only had the lead for 1:23 in that game, and that's all they needed it for. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we had Josh Byrne getting 7 points, 2 goals, 5 assists. You had Ian McKay getting a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Dane Smith getting a goal and 1 assist for 2 points. Joey Rez getting a goal and 2 assists for 1 point. Clay Scanlan getting a goal and 1 assist for 2 points. Goal and 1 assist for 2 points. You had Robinson getting 2 assists. Kyle Buchanan getting a goal, as well as Steve Carollo. Mitch DeSnew, Spanger, both got assists as well. And I'll tell you guys, they got dusted in the dot. 0-11 out of Mitch DeSnew, 3 for 6 out of Robinson, and E. McKay, 0 for 2. And guess what? They still won the game because faceoffs don't matter. Oh my God. Okay, Zach Mans, you got a goal and 3 assists for 4 points on the other side. Robert Church got 2 goals. Ryan Keenan got a goal and assist. Austin Shanks got a goal and assist. Josh Sawada got a goal and assist. Brock Haley got a 2 assists. Jake Boudreau got 2 assists. Clark Walter got a goal. Mike Messenger, Matt Hosak, Holden Garland, and Ryan Barnable all got assists as well. You got Jake Nasso going 16 for 19 in the faceoffs. So huge there. Matt Vince got 51 shots, 44 saves, 86.3 save percentage. And on the other side, Frankie had a good night too. 43 shots, 35 saves for an 81.8 save percent, or 81.8 percentage. Huge. Goal against average was 8 for Frankie, 7 for Matt Vince. Look how close that is. That's insane. I can tell you right now, if you are a Saskatchewan fan and you don't hate Buffalo, like I'm talking, you want to attack their fans when you're out, which you obviously should never do. I'm not condoning that. But the feeling of that, because like that's how I get with when I see Boston fans. After a playoff loss, I kind of lose my care now, obviously, but you get really raged up. Obviously, I would never do it, but that's how you feel. And I feel like Saskatchewan must feel like that with Buffalo because they fucking hate them, bro. I'm telling you right now. They just take all their every time they play, they beat them. And this is supposed to be the team. Saskatchewan has fallen off the cliff the last little while. It's a good thing they had such a great start because right now it is not looking good for Saskatchewan. It's wild. We're going to go through all the teams in a second. I'm just going to run through what they're looking like going into playoffs, but it's insane, guys. We got our next game, the Nighthawks versus Oshawa. So Rochester versus Oshawa. You got 50 Oshawa. Meh, we need to get that up there. I think they can easily fit more fans than that, but the way they're playing, can you blame the fans for not going out? I think the fatigue's starting to hit in a little bit. And why would you go watch a team that's not going to win, right? And so that's the thing. This is another one that's just not in love with this. Anyway, Oshawa is disappointing. And then Oshawa got 2 goals in the first, 3 in the second, 4 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. So honestly, Oshawa they were scoring just not enough, right? And it was definitely a rough night for the goalies, especially over there in Oshawa. You had Connor Fields getting 10 points, 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points, 5 loose balls as well. Launchberry got a goal and 8 assists for 9 points. McConvey got 6 goals, 2 assists for 8 points. Ryan Smith got 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. Hogg got 3 assists. Riordan got 3 assists as well. Zed Williams got a goal and an assist, as well as Kyle Waters. Had Tutton also got a goal and an assist as well. Taylor Jensen with a goal. Medeiros with an assist. And then you had Jeremy Thompson going 18 for 34, so 52%. Not horrible there. On the other side, you had Alex Simmons getting 6 points, a goal and 5 assists. Ty Kurtz getting 5 assists. Dawson Thie getting 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. 8 loose balls, 1 caused turnover. Larkey got 2 goals, 1 assist. He's got the belt, in my opinion, 3 points. Dyson Williams with 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. Benny got 2 goals. Ethan Walker got a goal and assist for 2 points. Bridge got a goal, which is a rookie. Nishimura got a goal as well. Trubosky got an assist, as well as Mike Byrne. And Mike Byrne also went 13 for 30 in the draw. And Zach Mason went 3 for 4 in the draw. So not bad for him. And then on the goalie side, you had Hutch getting 51 shots, 40 saves, played the whole game, 78.4 save percentage. Really not bad. Good enough to win. Dougie Jameson, kind of a rough night. 56 shots, 40 saves, 71.4 save percentage. Kid came in for a little bit. 2 goals against, 4 shots, 2 goals for 50%. So I don't know. Dougie just hasn't been great this year, but it's not even like he hasn't been great. Like he has had a couple really bad games like this, but I think every other goalie seems to have elevated their game where Dougie is having a very similar season like he always has. He'll have these breakout games, he'll have these underperforming games, and then he'll have his average. And his average is like a 77 normally, which is not, like I said, like it's normally, if you look at historic numbers, is usually not that bad, but the way it is today, it seems like you need to be at 81, 82 save percentage. I don't know. We're going to see as the season goes. Like the season's almost over. That's the thing. Because Graham made a really good point, Graham Perro, when he was on my podcast last week. It was well, it's still, during the 2020 season, it was like that too, or like whatever season was shortened. And I'm like, okay, interesting. When you look at it, it's like, it's weird how it's happening this year and it's still going on this late in the season. Like you're still having guys put up 87, 88 save percentage sometimes, 86, right? Then you had Ottawa so Georgia beat Ottawa 12-7. Anyway, they had 5,840. Again, not horrible, but definitely got to get that up there, Ottawa. Like, we got to figure it out. This one, Georgia got 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 5 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And then you had Ottawa getting 1 in the first, 4 in the second, 0 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. And we've seen this a couple times this week. You cannot go stagnant in the second half, especially with Ottawa. Jeff Teat really didn't have a fantastic night this week, but that's the problem. This team is going to go as far as Jeff Teat carries them and Higgins carries them, right? Because Higgins has also had a couple games where he's been absolutely lights out. This just wasn't one of them for anybody. So you got, again, Ottawa had over 24 minutes of not scoring, which is unacceptable in my opinion. So you had Lyle getting 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. Brian Cole getting 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Caleb Benedict getting a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Shane Jackson getting 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Nolan Byrne getting 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Jordan McIntosh getting 2 assists. Michael Grace getting 2 assists. Jacob Hickey getting a goal. Seth Van Sheppen getting a goal. Jeff Henry getting a goal. Mike Triolo getting assists. Turbell getting assists. Brett Dobson getting assists. Again, proving my theory, faceoffs do not matter. 4 for 17 in the dot for Brent Trumbull, 1 for 6 by Mike Manley. And on the other side of things, you had Robert Hellier getting 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points. You had Jeff Teat getting a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. So see, like, just like a normal night for Jeff Teat, not even normal, below him, but a normal, like a decent night for most players, just not him. Phil Caputo getting a goal and assist for 2 points. Larson Sundown getting a goal and assist for 2 points. Callum Jones getting 2 assists, as well as 9 loose balls. Sam Firth getting a goal. Connor Kiernan getting an assist. Kevin Brownell getting an assist as well. You had Brent Noseworthy getting 11 loose balls, which is huge. And then you had Reed Kurtz going 18 for 23 and 78.3 in the faceoff circle. So that's huge. Then you got Brett Dobson with an 85.7 save percentage. This is insane. Brett Dobson, that he's doing this, 49 shots, 42 saves, 7 goals against. The fact that he does this game in and game out, this isn't just a once off. He has a bad game on once off, but like his whole, like every game is just crazy good, right? So it's just insane. Then you got Zach Higgins on the other side. Again, having an okay night, like 55 shots, 43 saves for 78.2 save percentage. The offense just wasn't there. But is it the offense or is it just Georgia's back end is so good? Their defense is so good. Like, let's see. Hold on. I want to see Michael Grace here. Michael Grace got 10 loose balls, 2 caused turnovers. Like, it's insane. It's insane, guys. It's insane. And then we finally got Toronto Rock versus Philly. Philadelphia got put 6,000 fans in the building this year, which is funny. Isn't it funny how they had a higher attendance number this game than Friday night? So they have better attendance on Sunday, which is kind of weird. But anyway, starting off strong here, we had Toronto getting 2 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Philadelphia got 3 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second, 5 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. So really the third quarter is what lost Toronto. This is where you have to go back to playing 60 minutes. Every time you're out there playing from the start to the end, fully every game, you cannot come out sloppy, which is what Toronto did. This is what lost the game was the first 6-7 minutes of the second half. Philadelphia scored at 142, 302, and 643, and Toronto scored at 439. And like just that little run was kind of enough to push them over the edge, right? And to give them enough of a momentum. So now it's easy to say that, right? Like, I mean, but it was back and forth, like Toronto, like from the beginning of the game, Toronto, Philly, half, Philly, so Philly, Toronto, Philly, Toronto, Philly, Toronto, Philly, Toronto. So as you can see, it was a squeaker, right? There was 2 runs in that game, if you actually notice, after me reading that over, to be honest with you, between the end of the first into the second, and then the beginning of the third that really cost them the game. And that's what I mean. It's crazy how just you're not playing on the top of your game for a few minutes out of the game, and it costs you the whole game. You have to play 60 minutes every time you're out there. So we got in Toronto, you got Owen Hills with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points, 10 shots on goal. Huge. You got Josh Dawick with 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. CJ Kurtz with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. Mark Matthews with 4 assists. Chandler Rogers with 3 assists. You had Sam English. Oh my God. Sam English with a goal and an assist for 2 points, 14 loose balls, and 3 caused turnovers. And even had a block. That's crazy. You had Ostrader with a goal. You had Weeks with an assist. Morin Weeks with an assist. Keller with an assist, as well as Hukel and Brad Cree, all with assists. Wow, 14 loose balls is crazy. And then Latrell was pretty quiet. He only had a block, or we only had, yeah, he only one block, nothing else. But Nicholas Roulette went 12 for 25, so 48%. On the other side of things, you had Brendan O'Neill having a big night after not having a great night the first night with 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. Lucas Nielsen with 3 goals. You had Dalton Young with 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Sam LeClaire with a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Travis Longboat with a goal and 1 assist for 3 points. Kyle Jackson with 3 assists. Sinfield with 3 assists. Ron John with a goal. Alex Pace with a goal. Ryan Wagner with a goal. Liam Patton with an assist. And you had Bo Columbus going 13 to 24 in the faceoffs for 54%. So better than Friday. Philadelphia obviously played that game a kick in the ass. They should have lost. Neither of these teams understood the assignment though. Toronto needed to win. Philadelphia needed to lose. And that's just kind of how it should have went. But Nick DeMood played the second game. So maybe they were just splitting the games this week. He had 50 shots, 41 saves for an 82 save percentage. So big on him. But Nick Nod had I think he was slightly better if I'm not mistaken. Howachuk went 49 shots, 38 saves for a 77.6 save percentage. Why was Nick Rose not playing this game? Is this part of the problem, guys? You ready to admit that Rosie's the goalie? Are we ready to admit that that's the case? Just wondering, Toronto fans, because you guys love to fucking hate on Nick Rose. Not all of you, but there's some of you. Stunna. Sorry, Stunna. You know who you are, Stunna. No, I love Stunna. You know, guys, I love Stunna. He's been on the show and everything, but he's one of the Nick Rose haters, and he's just wrong. Like, he's wrong, and I am gonna be messaging him at the end of the season to tell him that. So, Stunna, be ready, because Nick Rose is why you wouldn't have had him playing blows my mind. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why was Nick Rose not playing that game? Right? You guys would have won. You guys would have won that game with Nick Rose in it. Just saying. Save percentage would have been very even. Would have been way more even than that. Nick Rose needs to get in there. Howachuk Troy. I'm not sold on him, guys. I'm really not. And I mean, I've talked to some people, and like they are. I'm not sold on this team. And to be honest with you, this is maybe one of the reasons I don't want to become a Toronto fan, is because of the goaltending situation that you guys got going on there. Because it's like, I don't trust Troy. I don't. That's just my own opinion, guys. I'm not saying he's a bad goalie, but I'm also not saying he's a top 7 goalie like in the league. So when you start looking at it like that, why would you want to have, like, there's 14 teams in the league? He's not in the top half of those goalies. He's not. You can't convince me he can't. He is right now. So, and go look at his record. Like, I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm not. I feel like people think that I'm a hater, which I guess I kind of am a hater a little bit. He's 26 years old, so he's still young overall, right? But he's starting to come into himself. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. He was a 4th round pick by the Toronto Rock in 2019. He's got he's 4-3 this season. He's got a 77.1 save percentage. He's played 450 minutes. Like, it's not like, I don't know, guys. That's just my opinion on it. So there you have it. There's a recap for the weekend in depth. I mean, again, this really didn't tell us anything. I don't think. This was a weird weekend. I went 5, or what I got 2 games wrong. So I don't know if I think there was 6 games. So 4 for 6 or something. Saskatchewan I thought was going to win as well. I had Toronto, obviously. What sucks for that is I had the tiebreaker in who you got. So if I would have fucking won it, I would at least been on the wheel. I don't know if I would have been winning solo, but I would have been at least on the wheel. And I've been trying to do it all season. I can't get there, but I'm going to get there. I guarantee it. We've got 3 weeks left. I got to hit it in 3 weeks. I got 3 weeks to hit that. We're going to have to try again next season. So hopefully we can get it. And yeah, I can't wait. So I'm going to hit it. No, I got to put it onto the universe. I'm going to hit that. So right now we got Vancouver Warriors leading the league with 11-4. Saskatchewan's 11-5. Georgia's 10-5. Colorado's 10-5. Buffalo's 9-6. Toronto's 9-6. Ottawa's 8-8. Las Vegas 7-7, Rochester's 6-8, San Diego is 6-8, Halifax is 6-9, Calgary is 4-11, Oshawa is 4-11, and Philadelphia is 4-12. My power rankings, okay? So we got Vancouver. I'm going to put him first. Obviously, that's not going to change. I think they're going to ride that pole position for the end. I thought it was going to be Saskatchewan, but Vancouver is just the most complete team. And this isn't a surprise to anybody who was paying attention in the offseason. You got Buffalo at number 2. The way they've been playing, their backs are against the wall. Right now, they are the second best team in the league. Georgia at number 3, Colorado at number 4, Saskatchewan at number 5, Toronto at number 6, Las Vegas at number 7, and then Ottawa at number. Ottawa is in trouble right now. It's crazy. So let's go through the point. Let's just go through the point leaders real quick. So right now, Keegan Ball is leading the league right now with 1 game in hand with 107 points over Jeff Teets, 106 points. Connor Fields had 97 points right now. Dane Smith has 96. Robert Hellier has 91. Josh Byrne has 91. Alex Simmons has 89. Ryan Launchberry has 87. Mitch Jones has 86. Ryan Keenan has 84. So there's your top 10 point getters. Now, how many players are going to be over the 100 point mark this season? I said there's going to be 12 or 13. Am I close? It's going to be tight to get to that. We've already got 2. I'd say we're going to at least have 900 point guys. We might hit the 12, 13 mark. We're going to see if a couple other guys can have big nights. Andrew Q should be in that conversation as well, but it's just, he's not going to be. He's only played 11 games, right? So it's just not. So there you have it. There's your top point getters. Top goal right now, top scorers. Andrew Q still leads the lead with 43. Tanner Cook's got 40. Shout out Calgary. Good for you. How old is Tanner Cook? Is he 30? Is he the 30-year-old? 27. He's only 27. Dude, I would kill for a game. I would kill for a fucking game in the NLL. So you got Jeff Teat with 40, Curtis Dixon with 38, Connor Fields with 38, Keegan Ball with 36, Simmons with 35, Ryan Keenan with 34, as well as Clark Peterson and Ryan Smith, all with 34 goals. So there you have it. There's your goal leaders as well. Now let's go check out the goalies. Goalie save percentage right now. I only go over the starters. So anybody who's played, usually I'll touch on anybody who's played like kind of over 100 minutes. Right now you got Brett Dobson with an 84.4 save percentage, played almost 850 minutes almost. Crazy. He's having an historical season, I'm pretty sure. Whittam's right there with 83.8, but has not played nearly the minutes, obviously. Christian Del Bianco is right there. Played actually 43. He's played almost 50 more minutes than 45 more minutes that Dauber has, and he's got an 81.9 save percentage. But this is the crazy part. Look at the team that Bianco has in front of him. Look at the team that Dobson has in front of him. No disrespect, but it's a big difference right there. Right now, Brett Dobson is the best goalie in the world. I have to, and I know that's an argument. That's a debate that we can go into all day, right? So you got Deacon Knott with 81% save percentage, Dylan Ward with an 80.9, Warren Hill with an 80.4, Nick DeMood with an 80.3. So there's your top 10 kind of goalies. Nick Rose is also in the conversation with an 80 as well. Frankie's got a 79.7. Dougie's got a 78.9, especially with the thing. And same as Ruggeri, 78.9, considering he's had a thing. Alex Bouquet, 78.9. Matt Vince had a 78.6. Like, and the thing is I think at this point, Vegas has to run with Bouquet. They have to run with Bouquet. Bouquet is their starter right now, and he's the guy you're running with through the playoffs. I think that's what it is, honestly. Now let's go back into and let's figure out who are going to be our players of the week. So players of the week. So for like offensive player of the week, I'm going to give it to Mr. Connor Fields, leading his team with 10 points, 2 goals, 8 assists for 10 points. Always making everybody better out there and also getting 5 loose balls. So shout it to him. There's definitely a lot of guys who could have got this award, as there always is, but I have to give it to Mr. Connor Fields there. Definitely not in the contention for MVP this year, but he's still, to his team, he is an absolute animal. Next, we're going to go with goaltender of the week. I'm going to give it to Warren Hill, boys. Warren Hill, 49 shots, 43 saves for an 87.8 save percentage. It's crazy how everybody was worried about him, and he's had the best year of his career so far. And the fact that the offense is the issue is kind of like a funny joke to me, to be honest with you. But the fact that without Warren Hill in this game, they would have never been there. So I'm going to give it to him all day on that one. Okay, so there's my goaltender of the week. Defenseman of the week is going to be, okay, like I said, there could have been a few guys, but I think personally, for me, I think this guy is a massive difference on this team. I think he's an unsung hero, except for me. I'm the one always screaming his name. But Tyson Bell had an assist in this game, 12 loose ball pickups, 2 caused turnovers, and 3 blocks. He is my rookie of the week, or he's my defense player of the week, not hands down. He held in there, got it done, helped Vegas get that big win, locked it down when it needs. He's such a special player. And Halifax, the fact they dropped him is just ridiculous. Now, before I take off here, I do want to do one more thing with you guys. I would like to go over each team right now. So here are the stats. Actually, we'll go to NLL.com because they have it all actually printed. I do like the graphicing on NLL.com a little bit better, but the stats, the actual numbers, the important part is better on NLL Plus. Okay, so we've got Vancouver that is clinched, Saskatchewan's clinched, Colorado's clinched, Georgia's basically clinched, but they're not official yet, but they're going to be. It's just a matter of some other team losing or them winning one more game, which we'll go through their games in a minute. You've also got Buffalo. This is where it gets interesting. So right now, I'm going to say those 4 spots are pretty much done, right? So now you've got 4 spots remaining. You have Buffalo, Toronto, Ottawa, Las Vegas, Rochester, San Diego, and Halifax. Teams fighting for these last 4 spots. You have Calgary. Calgary and Philly are officially out. Oshawa somehow, they still have a chance to get in, but they're out. Let's be real. And then, so now you have Halifax has a slow, like a low chance of 70. It's like an 18% chance. San Diego, I don't think makes it either. It's more on a race, to be honest with you. It's essentially 5 teams for 4 spots, in my opinion. I don't think San Diego has what it takes. I think Rochester has a firepower to get in there. That's why I'm not counting them out yet, or I'd be basically counting them out. one more loss, and I think they'll be out for sure. But they can still hit 9-9. They've still got 4 games left. That's their biggest advantage, right? Now they've got 2 games against San Diego. Or no, is it back? No, it's not. No, it's Vegas. They've got 2 games coming up though. I'm going to go through all their schedules. So basically, yeah. So let's run through each team's schedules real quick. So we'll start with Buffalo here. So Buffalo they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. They've got Vancouver, Rochester, and Oshawa left. And like realistically, they're 9-6. They just really need teams to lose now. But if they get one more win, they're in for sure. So they're trying to fight for a home playoff. Now, do I think they're going to beat Vancouver? Absolutely not. Rochester's going to be a toss-up game. That's going to be a hard game. They already beat Rochester, I think. No, they lost to Rochester. So they're going to want to play. I think they probably get that game too. So 2, or they'll get that game and then Oshawa. So they're going to get 2 left. I think they end up right now. It's crazy. They're going to end up with probably 11 wins, honestly, on the season, which is insane. Then you've got Colorado. Let's go through Colorado quick now because they're fighting for a playoff spot as well. Colorado, their last 5 games, they're 2-3. So not great. And they've had losses against Toronto, Ottawa, and Buffalo. So not horrible losses. They beat San Diego and they beat Calgary in that same time. They've got Las Vegas, Saskatchewan, and Calgary. This Las Vegas game between them, which is this week, that's going to be a game to watch. That might be the game of the week, just because of how incredibly important it is for both teams. They are 10-5. I think they're already clinched actually now that I'm thinking about it, but they're clinched already, but they still want to try to maintain that they're going to get a home. So they probably need one more out of these wins for sure. Calgary, they should beat that team. Like they're walking into the playoffs either way, but they should get Calgary. And then they just really got to they either got to get a win against Las Vegas or Saskatchewan. This is going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting game, guys. I'm not going to lie. And it's a big win. That's a big game for Colorado. That's a big game for Vegas, but that's a big game for Colorado. Then we've got San Diego, Rochester, and Rochester again. So they got 3 games left. Here we go, right? What do we got? Georgia. Georgia's got 3 games left. So they got San Diego, Rochester twice. That's rough for Rochester, I'll tell you that. Now, are they going to get San Diego? I think 1,000%. They beat San Diego. I don't think San Diego has a chance here in that game, but you never know. That's not true. Every team has a chance. They got the face-offs. Doesn't mean shit, but either or. But in Brett Dobson, we trust, like I say, and we'll see what happens. Lyle's playing well. Nolan Burns playing well. Like everybody, and the back end's amazing. Like Georgia, I can't see them losing either one of those games. We'll see if they rest in week 21. We'll see what they actually I just noticed that's back-to-back games in week 21. So that's going to be interesting to play back-to-back. I'm assuming they'll probably split that now that I'm going to say that, because I'm assuming that I don't think they're going to want to go in and beat up when they've already got a playoff spot clinched and probably got to already have a home advantage clinched. So it'd be nice to see them beat San Diego, beat Rochester in the first game, and then just kind of bow out, right? So we'll see what happens there. Halifax is the one that right now they're 6-9. They have to win out to even give themselves a chance at 9-9. Luckily, they probably might have a chance if they win, but they have Rochester this week. They have Vancouver next week, and then they have Ottawa the final week. This is a rough one. This is a rough one. This is a rough schedule, guys. This is a rough schedule. I don't know. I don't even know if they get any of those wins, to be honest with you. I don't know. They got to get all of them though. So Halifax, to me, I don't think they make the playoffs. But every game is a must win now for them. So we'll see. Las Vegas has a favorable schedule, in my opinion. They've got 4 games left, which is a huge advantage, just like Rochester does. They've got Colorado. They've got Philadelphia. So those Colorado games going to be important, but it's not the end of the world if they lose at this point now, because they're 7-7, right? So they essentially need 3 wins for sure, but 2 of these. So you got Colorado, you got Philadelphia. They should beat Philadelphia. That's a must win game, that Philadelphia game. And then San Diego, if they split it, that's 2 wins. That puts them at 9-9. They got to get 3 out of the 4 here to really give themselves the best chance to try to make playoffs. And I think they do it. I think they get 3 out of 4. I'm hoping they beat Rochester. Or Colorado. They're probably going to lose Colorado, honestly. And they'll beat Philly. And then do they beat San Diego twice? I think so, honestly. I think they beat San Diego twice. I do. And that last game might come down, and that's another back-to-back. I'm not these huge fans back-to-back games to week 21. The league really did write this up like a story. I would like to see it win in week 21 and week 21 just to give them a week off in between the games. But you want to beat teams up before the playoffs, this is the way you do it. Oshawa doesn't matter. Ottawa has a rough road. I've said this from the beginning of the season. Okay, I've said if there's one thing that can come true, Ottawa make the playoffs. They're 8-8 right now. They are on the verge of not making the playoffs. They need to get these last 2 wins. It's important. So they play Toronto Rock and they play Halifax. Do they get Halifax? That's a toss-up game, to be honest with you. I think they get them though, especially if it's going to be depending on how Halifax is finishing off here. If they don't need the win, you're going to see Ottawa go in there and I think take it. But if they do need the win, then you're going to see them. Rochester, you got Halifax, Buffalo Bandits, and then Georgia twice. To be honest with you, they need to get this Halifax game next for sure. That'll put them at 7 and 8. I don't think they get those last 3 games. Georgia at the second game, maybe. So I'm going to count 2 for them. Buffalo game's really important. They've already beat them once this year, but I think that works against them a little bit. So I'm going to give them 2. That brings them to 9. I don't know, man. It might be a tiebreaker year where tiebreakers get you in or get you out. That's the truth of it. There's a couple teams in here. San Diego plays Toronto. They have 4 games left. That's kind of the advantage, and they're 6 and 8. But can they go on a 4-game run? I don't know. They got Toronto, Georgia, Las Vegas twice. The Las Vegas series is going to be a big one for them. Toronto, I don't see them beating Toronto. I don't see them beating Georgia. And then I see them taking one of the things. So they're going to get 1 win. So they're going to finish with a 7 and 10 record, in my opinion, at this point. Saskatchewan, they're already clinched, but can they get the home advantage? They are 1 and 4 in their last 5 games. Colorado is they got Colorado and Toronto. That's a hard finish. They've got this week off to rest. They got to come back swinging. I'm telling you right now, Saskatchewan needs to come back swinging. They have 1 game to rest. They need to get their shit together. They cannot go into the playoffs on this much of a run. Like, imagine if they lose the last 2 games and then they've gone to the playoffs. They'll be going to the playoffs 1 and 7. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Toronto, on the other hand, has got San Diego, Ottawa, and Saskatchewan. And I think they get San Diego. I think that's a toss-up game with Toronto, Ottawa, and Saskatchewan. Depends on how they're playing and who they're resting, to be honest with you, if they're going to rest. That's a toss-up. That's a hard one as well. And then you've got Vancouver Warriors with Buffalo, Halifax, and Philly. So the Vancouver Warriors have a nice, pretty nice, clean shot to the end. Buffalo's their last real hard game, and then they got a nice finish. So there you have it, guys. We've been talking way long enough now here. There's all my, there's the week recap for you. A lot of information. We'll have a guest back on. You just heard me talk for a long time. So with all that being said, I love you guys. My name is Jake McDonald. I'm Anything Across, and this is the game that never sits still. We'll talk to you guys later.